Imagine losing the baddest bop in hip-hop, knowing you blew your shot, only to watch her move on to an NFL superstar. Then, as if that wasn't enough, a man fresh out of federal prison slides into her comments confessing his love. Not just any man, but Pooh Shiesty, who was locked up a month ago and is now out here claiming he wants a shot with your ex. Meanwhile, Offset is still reacting, still pressed, still caught up over a woman he hasn't been with in years. The man publicly admitted he cheated, admitted he was selfish, and admitted he should have shown respect and took the L right out in the open. But Pooh Shiesty, he comes out of prison, reinvents himself, rocks a whole new swag, and has a country losing its mind over him. His first target? Cardi B. The nerve, the audacity, the pure disrespect. Behind the memes and jokes lies a real story of ego, obsession, loyalty, and what happens when two dangerous personalities collide over the same woman. Buckle up, Fambi. The end of this breakdown on Informed Soap. Your jaw will literally be on the floor. Let's dive in. Before we dive in, let me be real with y'all. This isn't just some funny internet moment. This situation has layers. You got Offset, still legally married to Cardi B, stuck in one of the messiest celebrity divorces hip-hop has ever seen. Then there's Pooh Shiesty, a man who just served nearly 3 years in federal prison for firearms and drug trafficking charges. Stepping back into the world and sliding into Cardi's comments like he had nothing to lose. Here's the wild part. Offset actually reacted publicly. That right there tells you everything you need to know about where his head is at. But it gets spicier. Pooh Shiesty didn't just make a quiet movie, went at it repeatedly in public. Offset could see it, while Cardi had already moved on, pregnant with another man's child, and living her life fully. Yet Offset couldn't let it go to understand this fully. We need to start at the very beginning. This story didn't start the day Pooh got out, it started way before. The first time Pooh Shiesty made his feelings about Cardi B known, he was behind bars. Let that sink in that it's 2024. Cardi B files a divorce from Offset in July, ending 7 years of marriage, 3 kids, and multiple cheating scandals. Naturally, she goes on Instagram Live to update her fans, talk about her life, and look for a new apartment in New York. Normal stuff, right? Meanwhile, someone managing Pooh Shiesty's social media account, because he was still in federal prison, drops a comment under her live stream that reads, "I'm 5 minutes away, baby. Open the door." Fam, the man is in prison. He is not 5 minutes away from anything. The closest thing to him is a corrections officer and a concrete wall. Yet someone with access to his account was out here putting Cardi on notice. Pooh Shiesty wanted in. Did Offset see it? Of course he did. And that was only the beginning. Fast forward to October 6, 2025. Pooh walks out of federal prison after serving nearly 3 years of a 5-year sentence, released early. Less than 24 hours into his freedom, he finds his phone, logs into Instagram, and goes straight to Cardi B's page. She had just posted a teaser for her new song. Fresh out, still rocking his prison haircut, he drops a comment, "I love you." That comment exploded over 10,000 likes, 400 plus replies. The internet lost it. People immediately understood the assignment. Pooh came home with his priorities straight. Music could wait. His boys could wait. Cardi's post? That was his target. But here's the real kicker. This wasn't a one-off. This was a campaign. Pooh Shiesty didn't just act impulsively. He was calculated, consistent. To understand why he felt bold enough to go after Cardi B, you need to see his homecoming. He didn't come back looking busted. He came back different. Even before he touched the streets, the buzz was real. His name had been ringing for 3 years behind bars because the music never stopped. Tracks like Back in Blood were still playing everywhere. Clubs, social media, radio. The legacy was alive. And the moment he stepped out, the reaction was insane. Women went wild. His social media blew up overnight. Comments flooded in. His looks, his drip, his entire vibe had evolved. The Memphis rapper who in one way came out a completely transformed version of himself. Now, think about this from Pooh's perspective. He's fresh, he's free. Momentum is on his side. Women across the country are hitting him up. The internet is celebrating it. So naturally, why wouldn't he shoot his shot at the baddest woman in the game? From his view, he's on top. Nothing to lose. Worst case scenario, she ignores him, which, spoiler alert, is exactly what happened. Here's what makes this whole situation both hilarious and telling. Cardi B has never, not once, acknowledged Pooh Shiesty's comments. No likes, no replies, no subtweets, nothing. She's living her best life pregnant with Stefan Diggs' baby, dropping her album Am I the Drama, winning court cases while Pooh is in her comments professing his love like a man who just got out of 3 years in federal prison. Her silence says it all. She's moved on. She's on a completely different level. And Pooh is out here doing the most for someone who hasn't even noticed. But you know who did notice? Offset. Fam, let me tell you something about Offset. This man has been soft about Cardi in the most public way possible. And I say that with respect because at least he owns it. But his behavior tells the story. When Cardi first filed for divorce back in 2020, Offset posted a full emotional apology video on Instagram. He got on camera and said, "I want to apologize to you, Cardi. I embarrassed you. I made you go crazy. I was a selfish, messed up husband. I embarrassed you, made you look crazy, and did things I had no business doing. I participated in actions I shouldn't have, broke your heart, broke our promises, broke God's promises, and I apologize for being a selfish, messed up husband. You know what I'm saying? Offset was trying to be a better person. That emotional apology video, it even ended up on his album, literally turning his feelings for Cardi into a career move. Yet he still couldn't keep her. Fast forward to 2024, when Cardi files a divorce again, this time for good, and Offset appears on the Keke Palmer podcast, admitting, "I should have respected her way more. I made bad decisions as a man, like stepping out. When she left, I had to take that on the chin. I was selfish." He spoke openly about his mistakes, owning up to his actions for millions to hear. Even after publicly taking the L, Offset was still locked in legal battles with her, fighting over money, reportedly rejecting a $10 million settlement, demanding half of everything, and claiming he helped build her brand. On one hand, he's apologizing for being a bad husband. On the other, he's asking for her property and taxes. Make it make sense. The reality? Offset is not over Cardi B. He might never be fully over her. So when Pooh Shiesty got out of prison and started publicly pursuing her, Offset's emotions immediately resurfaced. When Pooh drops that first comment, the "I love you," that racked up over 10,000 likes, Offset reacts. Not in a dramatic way, but in a subtle, unmistakable hip-hop way. He posts a string of laughing emojis. No words, no call out, no direct response. But everyone understood the message loud and clear. I see you, Pooh. I'm watching. A man who is truly unbothered wouldn't react at all. A man who's genuinely over someone doesn't track their social media closely enough to see who's commenting in their mentions. But Offset, he clocked it. He reacted. And naturally, the internet went wild. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. People started asking, does Offset actually want problems with Pooh Shiesty over this? These aren't two random civilians. These are men with real reputations in the streets, and each knows exactly what the other is capable of. For those that haven't been keeping up, let me break down who Pooh Shiesty really iced, because dismissing him as just some rapper who likes Cardi would be a huge mistake. Pooh Shiesty, born Lantrell Donnell Williams Jr., is from Memphis, Tennessee, and Memphis doesn't produce soft people. He grew up in one of the most violent cities in America, in a world where the line between music and the streets was razor thin. His rise was fast, his sound raw, and his reputation built on the idea that everything he rapped about was real. Then came the federal case that put him behind bars. In 2020, Pooh was involved in a shooting at a Florida hotel where a man got shot, marking the beginning of a serious legal battle that would shape his story.
Popular rapper arrested. He's accused of shooting a security guard at a South Florida gentleman's club and will remain behind bars. A judge denied bond for 21-year-old Lantrell Williams, known as Pooh Shiesty. Police say he was performing at King of Diamonds in Miami over Memorial Day weekend when cash was knocked out of his pocket. When the crowd tried to grab it, police say he showed off his gun, and while he was being escorted out of the club, he fired a shot, hitting the guard in the ankle. He's been charged with aggravated.
And the case wasn't just about a simple battery charge. It escalated into a federal conspiracy case involving firearms and drug trafficking. Pooh Shiesty pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 63 months. He ended up serving nearly 3 years before being released early, setting the stage for the wild return that would shake up the hip-hop world.
Sentenced to 63 months, that's 5.25 years on his federal felony for conspiracy to commit a violent crime or a drug offense using a firearm. He is already...
This isn't a man who went in for something minor. Pooh Shiesty has federal firearms charges on his record, a man who has shown he's willing to act in real-life situations, not just rap videos. That's exactly why Offset's little string of laughing emojis hit so hard. Because for all his flash and industry clout, Offset is not built the way Pooh Shiesty is built. The streets know the difference, and in hip-hop, that difference matters. Now, let's be real about something people are dancing around but won't say directly. This situation has moved way beyond social media jokes. Offset is still legally tied to Cardi, emotionally invested, financially fighting, and watching a man like Pooh publicly pursue his estranged wife with zero hesitation. And Pooh doesn't stop. Even with Cardi visibly pregnant with Stefan Diggs' child, posting photos celebrating her new life, Pooh keeps going. He drops another comment under a Miami post celebrating Diggs' birthday. "No woman better than you, far." I stamped that. This man saw a post dedicated to another man and still couldn't help himself. In any normal situation, that would be called embarrassing persistence. But Pooh Shiesty is not normal. He doesn't fully understand the idea of backing down. His entire persona is built on moving without fear. He doesn't calculate consequences like a regular person. If he wants something, he goes for it and dares anyone to challenge him. And that is exactly why Offset had to be careful. Laughing emojis are one thing, but actually having a problem with Pooh Shiesty over a woman, that's a completely different level. At the end of the day, fam, Offset's situation with Cardi is a real-time cautionary tale playing out every week on social media. Here's a man who is one of the baddest women on the planet, loyal, devoted, and with his kids, yet he fumbled repeatedly by choice. And now he has to watch. He has to watch her glow up. He has to watch her move into a new relationship with a high-profile athlete. He has to watch her drop music, win court cases, and live her best life. And on top of all that, he has to watch Pooh Shiesty, fresh out of federal prison, not missing a beat, publicly declaring his love for her like Offset doesn't even exist. That's a specific type of pain, and no amount of laughing emojis can hide it. The fact that Offset is still not fully over this, still fighting the divorce settlement, still reacting to Cardi-related moments, tells you everything. Time doesn't heal what you refuse to let go of, and Offset, despite all his industry clout and tough exterior, hasn't let go of Cardi B. Now, here's the kicker. Pooh Shiesty isn't doing this just to mess with Offset. He genuinely has feelings for, or at least interest in, Cardi. And he operates in a world where he doesn't factor in how his actions land on other people's emotions. That's not shade, that's the Memphis way. You see something, you go for it, and you let the chips fall. What makes this situation genuinely unpredictable is that Pooh is a man who doesn't de-escalate. When situations escalate, he escalates with them. He doesn't step back. He doesn't recalibrate. And that's why what comes next is anyone's guess. He crashes out. And while Offset is tender, emotional, and deep in his feelings, he's not in a position to confront Pooh Shiesty over a woman who has already told the world she's moved on. So what does Offset do? He reacts with emojis, stews in silence, and fights the divorce in court, the only arena where he still has leverage. Cardi has moved on. Pooh is still shooting his shot. Offset? He's somewhere watching it all unfold on his phone. In hip-hop, loyalty, timing, and self-awareness are everything. Offset had his windows with Cardi, multiple windows, and each time he closed them himself. Now someone else is outside knocking, and there's nothing he can do except watch. Pooh came home with one goal in mind, bold, consistent, and unconcerned with who was watching. Cardi, for a part, handled it with grace, never acknowledging the drama, never feeding it, just living her life. Offset, meanwhile, becomes a cautionary tale. Being in your feelings is human, but letting the internet watch you press over a woman who has clearly moved on, that's where it stops being relatable and turns into a lesson. The real question, will Pooh Shiesty ever fully stop? And what happens if Cardi actually reacts one day? Knowing Pooh, a single word from her could send him completely over the edge. And knowing Offset, he'd probably lose it in real time on social media for all of us to witness. What are your thoughts, fam? Is Offset right to be in his feelings? Is Pooh out of line for pursuing a woman who's visibly moved on? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And for more content breaking down the real stories behind hip-hop's biggest dramas, check out the video on screen right now. We got you covered.